In 1884, a short story appeared in a British literary magazine. It was published anonymously, no one knew who wrote it, and within weeks, the Boston Herald reprinted it, not as fiction but as a genuine eyewitness confession. British government officials were so alarmed by it that they formally complained it was damaging England's foreign relations. The story was about a ghost ship, a vessel found adrift in the Atlantic, abandoned without explanation. And here is the part that should give you pause. The man who wrote that story, the man who accidentally created one of history's most enduring and irrational mysteries, was Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes. The man who built his entire career on the idea that the rational mind, given enough evidence, can solve anything. Have you ever heard this part of the story? Most people haven't. Because here's what almost every documentary and YouTube video gets wrong about ghost ships. These vessels aren't mysterious because the evidence is missing. They're mysterious because humans kept replacing the evidence with better stories. And tonight, we're going to follow that thread from a real ship abandoned in the Atlantic in 1872, through a legendary vessel that may never have existed at all, to a steel cargo ship that drifted, unmanned and uncaptured, through Arctic waters for nearly 4 decades. By the end of this video, you'll understand why historians are still arguing about these cases, and why the real mystery was never the ships themselves. To understand any of this, we need to go back to November of 1872. The brigantine Mary Celeste departs New York Harbor, bound for Genoa, Italy, carrying 1,700 barrels of commercial alcohol. On board, Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and a crew of 7. 1 month later, another vessel, the Dei Gracia, spots the Mary Celeste drifting in the Atlantic, about 400 miles east of the Azores. The ship is under partial sail. She is moving, but when the crew of the Dei Gracia boards her, they find no one. The captain's wife's sewing machine is still on the table. The ship's clock and compass are missing. The single lifeboat is gone, and the ship's last log entry, dated 10 days earlier, gives no indication of distress. 10 people, including a child, had simply vanished. No bodies were ever found. No definitive explanation has ever been confirmed. This is the real Mary Celeste mystery, and it is genuinely unsolved. But it is also only the beginning of a much stranger story. Here is where Arthur Conan Doyle enters, where the trouble starts. In January of 1884, Conan Doyle published a short story in the Cornhill magazine called J. Habakkuk Jepson's Statement. He based it loosely on the Mary Celeste case. He changed the ship's name to Marie Celeste with an IE, and he invented an elaborate plot involving a black passenger who commandeers the vessel and murders the white crew. The story reflected the racial attitudes of Victorian England, and it is deeply uncomfortable by any modern standard. But what made it genuinely dangerous was how convincing it was. It was written as a first-person survivor account. Conan Doyle was anonymous. And when the Boston Herald reprinted it as fact, readers had no way to know they were reading fiction. The British Consul General in Morocco, where Doyle set part of the story, formally protested that the account was damaging diplomatic relations with Morocco. The man who invented the world's most famous rational detective had, without intending to, poisoned the historical record of a real event. But here's what that poisoning actually did. Conan Doyle introduced details into popular memory that never existed. The image of half-eaten meals left on the table, one of the most repeated facts about the Mary Celeste, almost certainly comes from fiction layered on top of fiction, not from the real salvage report. The 1872 investigation found no such thing. What investigators actually found was a ship in poor condition after heavy weather, with a missing lifeboat and a cargo hold that had leaked fumes, which may point toward a very unmysterious explanation. The crew, fearing an explosion, abandoned ship in the lifeboat, intending to be towed to safety, and then the tow line snapped. Rational, tragic, unglamorous, not the story anyone wanted. But that's not even the strangest part of what happened next. If the Mary Celeste is a real mystery, distorted by fiction, then the SS Ourang Medan is something else entirely. A ghost ship that may be pure invention, with a kernel of real tragedy buried so deep inside the legend that no one has ever dug it out. The story, as most people know it, goes like this. Sometime in the late 1940s, though some versions say 1939, and the date has never been confirmed, 2 American vessels in the Strait of Malacca receive a distress call. The message is fragmented. It describes the captain and crew as dead. It ends with the words, "I die." When rescuers board the Ourang Medan, they find the entire crew dead, faces frozen in expressions of pure terror, arms outstretched toward something unseen. Shortly after, the ship catches fire and explodes before it can be towed to port. Terrifying, vivid, almost certainly not true, at least not in this form. Maritime historians have found no shipping registry for a vessel named Ourang Medan, no insurance claim, no official incident report. The story appears to originate with a journalist named Silvio Shirley, writing in an Italian newspaper in the early 1950s, and researcher Michael East, whose work was covered by HowStuffWorks in 2023, found something buried in 1940 British national newspapers. A report of a distress call from an unnamed vessel requesting medical assistance made by British Marine officers in the same general region. A real event, mundane, possibly fatal, and then, years later, embellished almost beyond recognition. Some theories suggest the Ourang Medan, if it existed at all, was carrying illegal chemical cargo, potassium cyanide, or perhaps something left over from wartime weapons programs. These theories remain entirely unverified. Others connect the story to government concealment. These theories are almost certainly the product of the same impulse Conan Doyle identified without meaning to. When a story has a hole in it, humans fill the hole with something dramatic. We cannot confirm the Ourang Medan was real. What we can confirm is that the debate over whether it existed has kept people searching and arguing for more than 70 years. Which brings us to the ship that might be the strangest true ghost ship story ever told. The SS Baychimo was a steel cargo ship operated by the Hudson's Bay Company, built for trading in Arctic waters. In October of 1931, it became trapped in pack ice near Barrow, Alaska. The crew was airlifted to safety and waited for the ice to break up. But when a blizzard hit, the ship disappeared. They assumed it had sunk. It hadn't. The Baychimo was spotted again, still afloat, roughly 40 miles from where it was abandoned. A group of Inupiat hunters boarded it and became trapped aboard for 10 days during a storm. They later said the experience was deeply unsettling. The ship was drifting with no engine, no crew, no anchor, just moving with whatever the current and ice dictated. What followed was one of the strangest documented phenomena in maritime history. For 38 years, the Baychimo drifted through Arctic waters. It was spotted in 1939 when a captain named Hugh Polson attempted to board and salvage it and was repelled by ice. It appeared again in 1962, observed by Inuit off the Beaufort seacoast. The final recorded encounter came in 1969, 38 years after it was first abandoned. The Manitoba Museum has cataloged these confirmed sightings. They are not folklore. They are documented encounters. In 2006, the state of Alaska launched a formal government search for the Baychimo. They found nothing. The ship has never been located. It may be on the seafloor. It may still be drifting. We genuinely do not know. So why do we know more about a ship that probably didn't exist, the Ourang Medan, than about a steel vessel confirmed by government records to have drifted for nearly 4 decades? Because the Ourang Medan has a better story. Frozen faces, a final transmission, an explosion with no explanation. It hits every note that human psychology responds to. The unknown threat, the helpless victims, the destruction of evidence before anyone can analyze it. The Baychimo's story is stranger and more verifiable. But it doesn't have a villain. It doesn't have a mystery crew. It doesn't satisfy the part of our brain that wants a ghost ship to have ghosts. Arthur Conan Doyle, without meaning to, taught us this lesson in 1884, and we apparently haven't learned it yet. The creator of the world's most rational detective proved that a compelling fictional account can overwrite documented reality so completely that even government officials can't tell them apart. These stories aren't unsolved because the evidence is gone. They're unsolved because we keep choosing the dramatic version over the true one. That one is coming soon. Don't miss it.